Back at the Park, MGM here in Las Vegas. It is Pac-12 Women's Basketball Media Day. The Oregon State Beavers taking center stage. The head coach, Scott Rueck, entering year number 14 at your alma mater, which is wild. It is wild. You're not old enough to have coached 14 years.
Thank you for that. Yes. Yeah, thank you for
that. 7 returners from last year's squad. Excited to talk to Reagan Mears and Tamir Gardner, who brought with you today. But you tell me, kind of big picture, coming in, state of the program, how you're feeling about this unit as you get to tip off year 14.
Excited. You know, I'm really excited. We had so much momentum built, you know, I think 8 years in the tournament, you know, and then COVID happened, and we took a step back, no question. And now this group is reestablishing the culture that we had, and their competitors like we've had, and their expectations are what we've done. And so because of that, I'm extremely optimistic. I love them. I think we have all the pieces that make a great team. And, you know, we need to grow together. 7 returners, 6 new. But the new, you know, 3 of them are transfers, 2 of them have Pac-12 experience, and the freshmen are leaning on some experience in Italy, you know, as well as dynamic experiences in their own careers to this point that I think have advanced them and prepared them for what's to come so that we'll be ready sooner than later. And so I'm loving everything I'm seeing and experiencing. They're great.
Scott, you mentioned Italy, and again, we talked to Kelly about this, those 10 days that you got with this group before you went on that trip. What did that do, and what did the Italy experience do to propel you forward into practice?
Well, I think what happens in those experiences, I think you just learn so much about each other. And so the things that I didn't know about each of them, you know, I was able just to observe. You know, who cares how well we played? Or I just, you know, I wanted them to play hard, but I got to know them, and they got to know me and our staff. And so the communication, the barriers are gone. It's like we get each other, and so it just advanced us so quickly. And then we had so much success, you know, and we played really well, and we played extremely hard, which just, you know, made us all really excited.
That's the cherry on top, for sure. All right, well, we're going to open up to questions from the media. If you have a question, please raise your hand, and Christine will call on you.
Michelle, am I right?
Thank you. Hi there, Scott. Michelle Smith from The Next.
Hi, Michelle.
What was that momentum that was lost for those couple of years? You talked about rebuilding culture. I'm curious, did you think that any of that culture was lost as well, or do you just think it was, you know, it was the momentum, the stops and the starts, the injuries, and all of the things that came with that difficult period of time?
It was so challenging. We are built off relationships. That's what our program is. It's outward focus. It is, there's a warmth that we operate with. That's how I know how to coach. It's what my entire career is built. It's 14 here, but it was 14 at George Fox before that. And so 28 years now, you know, going into this year, that everything has been built off relationships. And to have all of that stripped away, you know, during the pandemic, you know, we lost a couple staff members during it. Then we had so much transition. Had transfers really for the first time, in number anyway. And, you know, that hurt us. It did set us back. And so now it's just, okay, rebuild. And so I felt like that was like an injury. I felt like we had an injury and we're rehabbing, you know, and we're going through these trials and tribulations again to find our way and to remember who we are, you know, as a program. And what we experienced last year, I mean, you know, we did a lot of good things the last couple of years, even though we didn't win at the same level. Last year, this group showed so much perseverance. And to me and Ray, who are here today, were a big part of that. Obviously, Talia was a huge part of that, and AJ a huge part of that, in just keeping the group together and playing our best basketball down the stretch of the season. I mean, we beat Arizona and USC in the last 2 weeks of the year for us, and so that created momentum going into this year, and that galvanized this group, you know, and they're here to do something special, and you'll hear that when they're up here, but that's evident to me as well. And so it just feels like, you know, we're back, we're running again.
Coach, the challenge on the floor, a Talia and a Tamia that aren't 100%, or and Tamia couldn't get on the court because of what had happened during the preseason. But it's just not that. It's the inability to tell people this is why they're not playing. And so then you're dealing with all that stuff too. How much did that impact your team, and how does it feel to sort of be rid of it?
Yeah, clarity and transparency is always good. So Tamia's situation was so unique, and just out of privacy, we weren't able to talk about that, and then Talia managing injury all year. I mean, we all knew she was, and bless her heart. I mean, she battled through it the entire season, and then it just got to a point where it was too much, and so it made sense for her to do what she did and step away at the very end. Step off the court at the very end, and so now she's back 100%. Tamia, was incredible in her rehab process last year, and her countenance. I mean, she weathered massive adversity as well as anybody I've ever seen. She was sitting on the sidelines, during practices where she could have been off sulking on the side, and just stayed engaged. But she missed 3 months of reps.
Right.
And when she came back, this conference is so good and it hit so fast. Those reps mattered. And so she wasn't as impactful as she would have been, of course. Now she's had an entire offseason. And so those two, along with everybody else, being healthy, it just feels right, and it's exciting.
I think and to me in particular, it's interesting when you look at players who lose time on the court, and a lot of them, you can go different ways, right? And I think it's hard because there's a loneliness that comes with the rehab. There's being away from the team and not being able to do the thing that you love. How did you see Tamia be able to weather that storm, and what was it that she was able to do to stay engaged and be as ready as she could when her time was ready?
Well, she was just normal. And that's what it worried me. And I kept asking her, are you really okay? Because you seem so normal. It seems like you would have to try to be as normal as you're being. But it was just her. And I said, well, where are you dealing with, all of the hard things? And she goes, well, with my mom and dad and on my own. And then every day as a pro. She's a pro. She came in and operated like a professional from day one and just brought her A game every day, even though she's going through that adversity. So she demonstrated leadership, and she demonstrated an incredible example to all of us, during that stretch. And then, to come in and get Freshman of the Week, her first weekend of playing college basketball.
Yeah, I did those games. She was pretty good.
Insane. And so, but she earned that. By preparing herself in every way. And so to her and her family and our team for supporting her, I give them just tons of credit. It was amazing.
Preseason polls don't mean anything, but they do mean something at the same time. When you look at the coaches and the media vote you 9th and 10th in the conference, and you've got the people coming back that you have, do you use that to say, we're not going to surprise people because we know what we can do? What's your approach with that?
Well, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you just told me. That's okay.
Sorry about that.
Makes sense, I guess. This conference is so good, and we have so many veterans. I'm, walking around today, and I thought you graduated 3 years ago. I said, what are you doing here? And so anyway, the conference is loaded. With this group, though, I'm optimistic, but it doesn't make sense to put us a whole lot higher, probably based upon last year. And we are unproven, at certain positions. And so I know what this team will do with that, though. And that's exciting, too.
Reagan Beers, who you brought with you today, she was just so fun to watch last year. Freshman of the year, 6th player of the year. What steps has she taken? What are you excited about what she's going to be able to bring her sophomore season?
Yeah, I think just adapting. I think your freshman year, you're leaning on everything that got you here. And what got her here is power, and quickness and position. Nobody gets a deep post pin better or quicker than Reagan Beers. It's just her parents did such a great job, and her coaches instilling that in her. I watched her as a sophomore. I said, I wish I could get my post to post like that quickly and that efficiently. And so all of those things, defense always is a journey, so I think that's notched forward. I think we got into some matchups last year where, she was matched physically, and it struggled because of it, because her game that she has relied on forever didn't work next level. And so she has adapted, and now really developed her game away from the basket. And I'd say if I could use a term, it'd be a more of a finesse game to go with the power, and it's a perfect complement. And so she's been remarkable in how hard she's worked this offseason, and we saw it in Italy, and we're seeing it every day.
One freshman in particular, Donovan Hunter, I know you're extremely excited about it. We've been hearing about her, reading about her for a couple years now. What does she bring to your team?
Leadership. At the point guard position, she's a defensive stopper. She identifies as a defender. Incredible floor vision, I should say. And then she's been shooting the ball incredibly well lately in practice. And so I just see a first-class competitor and somebody you can just rely on no matter the circumstances, that has a countenance that is unwavering. She's just the same every minute. And a mistake happens, and sometimes that impacts a young player in particular. With her, it doesn't. It's next play. And it's literally this, okay, next play, and that just sends such a cool, great message to her teammates. Everybody, next play, let's go. So she's doing everything right. She's an exciting player.
And as you were saying that, the two players that you brought with were nodding their head. Yes, she is shooting the ball. Really quick as they come up, your oldest son, Cole's golfer at Boise State. He's actually in Corvallis right now. Is that true?
Yes, he's at, yeah. That's
Thanks
why
for coming.
Today's a little tough for me.
Yeah.
I'm here. My son is playing at Tristine Tree in Oregon State's tournament today, representing Boise State. When I took the stage, he was 3 under through 7 holes today. Yesterday wasn't his best day. I got to be out there with him for a little bit, but today he's responding well, and so he's having a great experience and playing some great golf.
Maybe he's loosened up now that Dad's off his back.
Yeah.
Maybe you were the problem.
I think there's probably something to that, actually. Yes, I think it's tough to be a golf parent. Anybody that's out there that's been one knows it's a bit of torture, and it's a dance we do, but I'm so proud of him.
I love it. All right, well, we wish him the best of luck and wish you the best of luck this season.
Look
Scott
forward
Rueck.
to seeing Aaliyah.
Thank you very much.
All right, as we bring up your players right now, Reagan Beers, yes, come on up. Tamia Gardner, yep, you can go, yep.
That's yours, Coach. All right. Thanks, Coach. Thank you.